Here's the story of these really cool 1888 G&B chewing gum cards discovered by Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards.
Hi, it's Dave, Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards. Well, you saw those images of those G&B chewing gum cards from 1888. Now here's some facts about the cards before I get into the story about how we got them. As I mentioned, they're printed in 1888, although it is speculated that they were printed in more than 1 year, possibly printed in 2 years. These are the first gum and candy issues, E-cards, they're E223s, that were made in the 19th century, and for that matter, they're the only gum and candy cards that were issued in the 19th century. They measure 1 1/16 inch by 2 1/8 inches, and they're blank backs. They are either portrait photograph shots or line drawings. Line drawings are believed to have been taken off of images from the N172 Old Judges, and it's not known exactly how many cards are in the set. Some of the players have photographs and line images, some have just one or the other that have been discovered so far. The checklist is similar to the N403 Yum Yums, the tobacco cards that were issued at about the same time. And while there's, in the latest SCD book, there's a checklist of 181, skip numbered. There's not all the names are in there. It's made that size for future growth, future discoveries. There's less than 100 that have actually been discovered. Now, as far as what's known to exist in the hobby grading-wise, PSA has graded 2 of these cards. SGC has graded 92 of these cards. They're extremely rare, and as you can see on these images of the cards that I have, these are in fantastic condition.
Just to demonstrate real quickly about the condition, look at this Anson. It's probably the roughest of them all. The borders are a little unevenly cut. Beautiful Brothers, slight stain on the back. Here you can see the Clarkson, a beautiful card. Just look at that. Look at the edges and the clarity of the photo. Richardson, absolutely beautiful. Really hard.
It's amazing that they stayed in that shape, but I guess the fact that they're so small, maybe they don't get beat up as easily. These particular cards that I have, as you can see on the images, they have very minor back damage, little evidence of glue or some type of adhesive, and on a couple of them a very slight amount of paper that might have been worn off or broken off when they were taken out of a scrapbook. With regard to the story of how we came across these, you know, here at Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards, we specialize in 19th century cards, and I'm always trying to find these, get excited about this type of stuff. But anyway, get a call from a woman by the name of Barb a few weeks ago. She said she had a friend who had 4 of these cards. They thought they had a Yum Yum also, based on something, a letter they had received from Sports Collectors Digest back in 1992, and wanted to know if we might be interested in getting these cards or helping them to evaluate them. Of course, the picture she sent was a copy of a photocopy.
She actually sent a copy of this, as you can see, a copy of some pictures.
And so it looked a little bit funny, and I said, well, it looks like a copy of a copy. Can you get, she goes, it is. I said, can you get me a, you know, rescan them, get me a better image of these, which she did that following weekend and sent them to me, and of course they're beautiful. I was 99% sure after seeing these images that this was the real deal. So we did a little bit of negotiating, and she put me in touch with the woman that owned the cards, Jennifer, a 64-year-old woman who's had them for quite some time. And I tried to get her to send the cards to me. We had pretty much agreed on a price, told her to send the cards, I'll overnight you funds, or send them UPS COD. She wasn't real comfortable with that, as understandably some people are not. So at the end, in the end, yesterday, on July 1st, I ended up getting on a plane, 6 o'clock in the morning, LA, Chicago, Newark, in Newark for 45 minutes, purchased the cards from her, back Chicago, LA, got back home here around midnight, and took some pictures of the cards, and now today we're doing a video on them. So the story of how she came by them, the woman, and you can see this photo I have.
The woman in the lower right-hand corner is actually the woman who Jennifer's mom got the cards from.
The woman in the lower right-hand corner is the lady that actually owned these cards, and it's believed that she got them from her parents. She was a single woman, never married, no heirs, and Jennifer's mom and her were very close friends. She had an accident and died many years ago. Jennifer's mom was the executor of the estate, and they ended up with, boxes of different type of items, collectibles, jewelry, different type of things, and these sat in the box for years. They were passed on to Jennifer, and her and her husband had them, never even looked at the box, didn't open it, and when she got divorced back in the mid-70s, at that time, when they're splitting everything up, she had the box, she looked at it, and discovered that she still had these 4 cards. Didn't have any idea what they were worth. In 1992 and 93, started contacting the Hall of Fame, Sotheby's, Christie's, Sports Collectors Digest, sending some letters out. Showed you a copy of a couple of them here.
Those letters I was talking about, here's one from the Hall of Fame, just basically referring her to some other people to appraise them. Here's a letter from Christie's, guessing what they might go for. Here's something from Leland's, guessing what they might be valued at, $500 to $1,000 a piece. And a letter from Sports Collectors Digest.
And at that time, maybe these cards were worth $500 to $1,000 a piece. Christie said they thought the lot might go for $4,000 to $6,000, but she ended up putting them back in the box, and they didn't resurface until 2010, when her friend Barb contacted me, and I've been in touch with her now. So you can see we have some cards that have been seen before, the Clarkson and the Richardson, as you can see. Portrait photographs, and 2 cards that are line drawings, and significant cards that they are. Hanson, of course, a very valuable and sought-after card, and then the Dan Brothers. The Dan Brothers card, it's quite possible that this is the only one that exists. PSA and SGC haven't graded them. Anybody that I've talked to, nobody has seen it yet, so kind of an interesting card there. Now, of course, here at Dave's, we're always interested in picking up 19th century material. So if you're watching this video and you happen to have any of these 19th century cards, or maybe you've inherited, or something's been passed on to you, or it's up in an attic or down in a basement, and you seem to recall seeing something like that, you might want to go and take a look, see what you have. You can see my number scrolling across the bottom here. We're always interested in talking to anybody who has some of these, and especially if you think you might want to sell them at this particular point in time. So, hope you enjoyed that little story about these fantastic G&B chewing gum cards. As I mentioned, the first chewing gum cards made, the only chewing gum cards from the 19th century, and we have them here at Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards. Thanks for watching. Have a nice July 4th weekend. That's when we're making this, or whatever weekend you happen to be close to at the time when you're watching it. Happy collecting. Hope to hear from you soon here at Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards. Bye.